guys. Welcome to this week's podcast.
Hello.
Welcome.
Right, let's just take a quick sec to thank our sponsor, Buybox, for sponsoring this podcast.
That's awesome stuff.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Right, all right. So Call of Duty. There is a thing going around with concept art of zombies that was cancelled for Modern Warfare 2019.
That's so super depressing and so super sad.
I agree.
Yeah,
Imagine
no, I was
doing
really looking forward
Rumble.
to it. I was looking forward to it.
Oh, it would have been so nice.
Yes.
Yeah,
now,
no,
imagine
especially-
you running around. You can't camp anymore because you got a zombie on your bum, and
Yeah.
and he just wants a chunk of your backside. And you like I said, you have to run out of the way. And I suppose if you get the boss zombie, you can get more cash or more points or something like that. I don't know, but
Yeah,
it
they
would have
could
been
have
great.
incorporated
Yeah.
it into
Yeah,
Plunder. Plunder
Yeah,
zombies.
Yeah, no, that could have been worked out well. No, but like if you're thinking about it, it's like, okay, you guys are busy pushing on a team. Next minute you get swarmed by a horde of zombies from your right. Now you've blown
Exactly.
your cover because these zombies are coming at you.
9% like World War Z, that type of flock, type of zombie effect.
Yeah, like it might be, let's say, 4 or 5.
Mm.
They're easy to put down, aim for the head, that's cool, but you're blowing your cover, that's sad.
Exactly.
No, that's awesome.
The thing is, it would be a fast game as well because you're not gonna have time to do anything really. You're gonna have to
Yeah, you
look
can't
around.
mess around.
No, you can't because you have to play the whole time. You're gonna be cautious of every corner, every building.
Imagine all the
So,
jump
yeah.
scares they could put in.
Yeah, but then the
Oh,
Jitter
so
squad
many.
would have been back, eh?
Jitter Squad.
Yeah.
No, we're bringing back Jitter Squad.
Oh yeah, it's
Jitter squad never died.
guys. Watch this
No, it
space.
never
We're gonna
dies.
have shirts. We're gonna have shirts one day. We're gonna say Jitter Squad.
Jitter
The
squad
merch
doesn't,
store is gonna be up soon.
we're gonna say Jitter squad doesn't use growls.
Yes. Speaking of the growl, the recent nerf that went out. That's not a
Yeah,
nerf.
They can't call
No,
that
it's
nerf.
not.
No, the one with
Give me
the
a
one
break.
with the MP5 as well.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's not a nerf. The gun is
It doesn't
virtually
even look to be
unchanged.
changed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
there's a little bit, tiny bit more spread in its
variation,
fire.
but it,
But I mean, come on, like it
Um,
is so little.
I mean, have a look at that patch, pre-patch and post-patch. If you have a look at that difference, there's nothing.
no.
Yeah, I know.
You're
It is-
doing
I don't agree with what they've done with the growl or the other weapons. I think that brings us to the same topic on, not enough nerfing on one and too much nerfing on the other, like
Or-
C4, claymores, and
RPGs.
mine.
Well, I mean,
RPG
C4, you
is
might
not
as
enough.
well throw a rock at someone. You'll do more damage
Yeah.
in Gulag with a rock than flipping C4 underneath someone.
100%.
And why
I mean,
does it take so long to go off? If you watch the videos on YouTube, if they throw a C4, it explodes almost immediately. When we play
so
and
there's
we
a-
do it, it's a big difference.
there's
Yeah.
so Vinci,
Yes.
if you haven't figured that out, there's a quick tap tool that allows it to explode immediately as you throw.
But I tried it, didn't work with
It's-
me.
Double
Maybe-
tap the reload button and it'll explode immediately.
is that on the console as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
A lot of people have been trying to figure out what it is. They're like, wait, how are these people blowing up the C4 so quickly? And
Yeah.
they're not even using the animation with the trigger. And they're like, how are you doing that? And a lot of people are very frustrated by it.
I can imagine. I mean, like
Oh,
you see them blow up helicopters and jeeps and
Like
vehicles
instantly.
with instantaneously with C4. But you put a C4 against the wall, the guy walks past and you blow off his armor, and that's it. You know, like, okay, that doesn't make sense to me. So, like I said before, they nerf too much in one and too little in the other one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And people they abuse the growl.
No,
It,
correct.
yeah.
it may be awesome, that people who can't actually play properly,
Yeah, have a nice weapon
have a nice
to
weapon.
support you.
But then you get the people that'll set that weapon up to the point where it's you can't go
Basically a sniper.
directly on it. I mean,
Yes.
someone will kill you at 200 meters away with a growl
Yes.
with an iron sight, and that's just
Yes.
abuse of power. And I mean, with abuse of power, the recent Doctor Disrespect ban on Twitch, he's been permanently banned.
Yeah, you know what? I don't have mixed feelings about this guy because I watched him before. I follow him on YouTube and I follow him on, I can't remember, on whatever. But the thing is, he has this persona of abuse. His whole persona
Yes.
is abusive. And I watch him, I can only watch him for a short time, and then I get irritated and I move away. Because he just takes people on a different platform. He just keeps on berating them all the time. And it's you remember, a lot of people are sensitive out there, especially the younger kids. And if you have Dr. Disrespect nailing you about, you ugly, or you can't play, you useless, get rid of yourself, people take that to heart. And what has happened to him? It's about time. This type of cyber bullying, cyber
I'm with you
abuse
on that. I'm
should be
100%
stopped.
with you on that.
Me
Yeah,
too.
cyberbullying is terrible. Eh? There's so many people young kids, who take it, like they get it so bad that
Yes.
they attempt to kill themselves, and it's
100%.
it's so sad that it actually gets to that point
But there was
And
on
remember, those kids are being bullied on school as well.
as
So
well.
this is
Yeah.
a breakaway for them to play their game.
But
Then
you-
relax.
when they play the games and they're trying to relax and just get their heads clean, then you get these guys on the internet, on the gaming, that insult you the whole time. And what's the difference here? Nobody's gonna want to play anymore.
But you find that a
Yeah.
lot of those bullies are actually bullies in school, and they come online, they bully online as well.
Yes.
So that's that whole mentality. I mean, it was the other day on one of the South African websites where you could actually hear guys literally ripping a girl apart online. They are swearing at them, insulting her, making her feel useless. The language that came out of some of these cyber bullies' mouths,
It's disgusting.
it's just disgusting. Their machines and landlines should be banned from playing the game forever. It should be a harsh punishment, even criminal at best. You understand?
Yes.
No,
So-
but that's why this Doctor Disrespect ban is going to be a step down for Twitch, because
Yes.
I mean, all of these high viewed streamers, they think they can get away with a lot of things.
100%.
Yeah.
And
that's the
now
thing
that
is,
this
in
has
Call of-
happened,
On Call of Duty, you can right click on it, says report the person for abusive language.
Yes,
But
they've
is it
recently
taken
added it.
seriously? Is it really taken seriously? We all know Call of Duty is very slack when it comes to like
Cheating.
cheating. Because cheating
Yeah,
and cheaters all over the
reporting
place.
people.
100%. So no,
Look,
this
It's all
But
good and
Jesus-
well adding a button for it. But the
Yeah.
question is, does that button send to an empty mailbox, or does it send to an active unit who actually combs through everything
100%.
properly and actually does their job? No.
When it
Yeah.
comes
Got it.
down to cyberbullying versus cheating, you can cheat any day of the month, any day of the year. I don't care if it blows your hair back. Cheat. Just don't cyberbully, because people don't get over that emotional distress. They don't. I have a personal issue with this because I was bullied my entire life from grade school all the way, because I'm different. I grew up Dutch. So I'm Dutch, speak differently and think differently, and I get put into Afrikaans boarding schools all the time.
Yes.
So I was bullied my entire life, and I disagree with it, because you live with that stigma for the rest of your life. You believe you are useless. You believe that nobody trusts you, and and that type of thing. You don't fit in society. And I say, take away cyberbullying, and if you counter cyberbullying, it should be dealt with immediately in the harshest possible manner.
Yes.
yeah,
You know what? I think that it's good that they've banned him permanently.
But he must go on a register, though.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
it has to. They have to create a register for streamers that are. They're not good, in terms of they're they're very abusive towards people.
Yeah.
I've seen so many streamers that there was one recently who was banned because he was pretending that he was in a wheelchair bound, and one day he didn't switch his stream off. He stood up off his wheelchair, and that was that.
Yes. Now, people like that, and Twitch, but Twitch is actually quite active when it comes to people like that. I mean, I've seen so many Twitchers that have been banned because they lied. Also they do self-harm or they do harm to other people. They get lifetime ban because they call that content creation, and it isn't content creation. It is seeking attention in a negative form. And
Yeah.
it's causing a negative impact on the internet. So a lot of parents tell the kids you can't be internet because there are bad people online, and it's not the internet, it's the people who get
The
away
people.
with it though.
Yes.
It's true, and I will say it's really the people.
But I also think that Twitch is slack. And the reason why I say Twitch is slack, Dr. Disrespect is a big name.
Yes.
It's been around for a while, right?
Yes.
He's got big. And he is, in his name, says it all, you know?
Yeah.
And finally, after, releasing vague statements about this and about that, Twitch banned him permanently. And
Yeah.
apparently it is the biggest disciplinary action
Yeah.
that's been taken from the platform to date. They all say things. We've taken appropriate action with the evidence for the streamers acted the violation. But come on,
Look,
how
look,
often
yeah,
are
Yeah,
they
no,
gonna-
I agree because I mean, all these small streamers, they do one wrong thing, one tiny wrong thing that, like, is against what their contract says with them,
100%. And they get
and
back.
then boom, they get banned. And then Doctor Disrespect, Ninja, who else? I don't know many streamers,
Yeah,
but I
but
mean,
You must look at other streamers like Shroud. I watch
Yeah.
Shroud on YouTube. Okay, that dude is nothing but nice to other people.
He
People
is.
join him and he goes, "Hey man, how are you?" Actually tries to find out how they are. They walk, they come in. It's like, "Oh man, thank you so much. This is so awesome." And it's like, "Oh my god, I'm being shot by Shroud." And you're sitting going, "You guys happy that he gets shot by Shroud because he's actually on game with Shroud?" But then
Yeah,
Shroud,
a lot of
Shroud says,
people
"I'm
are
sorry."
though. A lot of people are. They're like, they get shot by him or killed him, and then they're like, "Oh, I just got killed." And then I've seen so many videos on YouTube of, I was in game with Shroud, or I was in game with the streamer,
Yes.
and
Yeah,
they're
but-
actually really good streamers in terms of family-friendly content and enjoyable
Yes.
content.
But see, that's why people are so excited to be in the game with it. If you're in a game with Dr. Disrespect, and it's an open mic, and you hear him foul mouthing the way he does,
Yes.
He's
I mean,
terrible.
come on, dude. I don't want to play with someone like that. It's so toxic. I'm in a game to have fun, to get good content for everyone watching. Entertainment. I'm not there to swear at people who are
And get salty.
exactly. If my teammate's not doing very well, shame. He's not doing very well. If
Yeah.
it's a random person online, it could be
Don't get pissed off about it.
exactly.
Like me.
I'm just gonna. Well, I mean, Vincey, you are very good.
No,
And I mean, in all
We
respect,
all have our times.
you are on console, so it
you-
is a big
and
difference.
you're getting more kills than PC players. That's
Exactly,
respect.
dude. I mean, recently getting so many kills, you do so well. But I
Watch
mean,
this space.
if someone's not doing well, you support them.
Yes.
If they're missing, you support them, because the more support you give, the more likely they are to take that support and turn it into, I'm gonna do better.
Yes.
And
positive
it's
reaction.
exactly,
Yes.
it's the same with streamers. When you're watching them, and it's all that negativity, you take that
Yes.
negativity and it festers.
Exactly. Support them
100%.
whether what the console they're using,
Mm.
what motherboard, what GPU they might use. They might use an AMD GPU, which is a Radeon, or they
Yes.
might use the Nvidia ones.
Yes.
Or, I mean, there's so much hate going around which one's better, AMD or
Yeah.
Intel.
Look, the end of the day is if I can get to online, I can play. Then I'm happy with it. I don't
Exactly.
care, and I don't want to hear
That's
some
the
guy
whole
say
point,
Look,
actually.
Intel is better or not.
Can I be honest with you? I am an AMD hardcore fan, but
Yes.
at the end of the
Are
day,
you really though?
yes. At the end
Are
of the
you really
day,
though?
at the end of the day, if I want to play a certain game and AMD cannot come to the party with the hardware that I need to play this game, I will go to Nvidia and I will take Nvidia because look, I'm not saying Nvidia is bad. Nvidia is incredibly good. Just like
100%.
Intel and AMD. Intel's very good. Intel's lagging behind at the moment. They will catch up. They will eventually
Oh
catch
yeah.
up one day. Not anytime soon, but they will. um, Speaking of AMD, Intel, and Nvidia, we have a new player on the scene, Huawei.
Yeah,
Um,
Huawei. Yeah,
with
okay.
What?
their
Wait,
eight.
I haven't heard anything about a Huawei. What's happening?
So Huawei has released their new 8-core 7 nanometer Kunpeng 920 processor.
So this is in competition with AMD and Intel.
Yes, it's pretty awesome to be honest. I mean 7 nanometers is small, and I mean AMD
No, no,
is
it's
known for their 14 nanometer processors.
Yeah. No, the thing is, Huawei has got a lot to catch up to because of American politics. They're closing down a lot of companies that they can be dealing with to make processors or chipsets, and now they have to rely on their own companies or own factories to make it for them. So the interview that did test the chipset, there's a lot of things lacking on it. It does some things well, but other things it doesn't do at all. Where the average input starter CPU does well, this one doesn't.
Okay, but
What do
guys,
you mean by
just
that?
remember, they are a somebody new that's getting in, so they
They
can
say in the
upgrade as they
experimental.
go. Yeah.
No,
So
100%.
for now, they're putting this out for everybody to use. Then they can see, okay, this is the comment. Okay, we must upgrade on this part and this part.
I
So
agree. No, but
Yeah,
that's the
no,
thing. It's
true.
with them.
think
That's
on of
true.
the end of the day, maybe they could be better, maybe not. We'll see about it.
No, it's true. That's the thing is that's what I'm not saying what I said wasn't negative. What I'm saying is they're new in the market, they're testing the field, and within testing the field, they've got so much to catch up onto where AMD has been on the market for so long, Intel has been in the market since forever. So they had so
Yeah,
much
they've
more
learned their
playing
mistakes.
room to exactly, and they fixed it and they're honing on to what makes a machine good. Huawei's got good laptops, but now they're getting into the desktop scene, and with this new chipset, yeah, there's a lot of room to work with.
Huawei has laptops.
Hey,
I thought they only just did phones.
No,
no,
Sorry, I'm a
they've
bit
got a
behind.
Huawei, they've got a Huawei laptop as well, and I've seen some of the Huawei specs, and I'm going, all right, I'm interested, type of thing, at almost half the price
No,
of
but
some
does
other
that have
laptops.
an AMD or an Intel chip with?
I cannot. I think it's
They're
at an AMD
AMD,
chipset.
yeah, AMD chipsets. But
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
look, I'm a big fan of the underdog. Always have been. AMD's proven themselves now with in terms of the GPU market. Um, but Huawei, they can definitely prove themselves. I mean,
Oh, they're gonna cause a stir of note. I'm telling
they
you
can
that.
upset the market 100%, and I'm like you
exactly.
said, underdog. I'm there for.
I
AMD
mean,
and Intel had the playground for so long already. It's about time somebody comes in and going, look what we can do.
Well, I
I
mean,
mean, if you've
listen to
seen what they've
this.
done
Yeah,
with their
giving them
phones,
some competition.
yeah, I mean, if you see what they've done with their phones, with Samsung and
Yes.
iPhone coming out, and then all of a sudden Huawei pops out, and then they're cheaper, but still at the same amount of quality. What do you think
Exactly.
they're gonna do with CPUs?
Yes, but now if you look at their CPUs, this is what I don't understand. Is they've got level 1 cache 128 kilobytes, level 2 cache 512 kilobytes, and level 3 32 megabytes. Where'd the rest go in level 1 and 2?
True.
Come on, level 1 and 2's got to have at least, you can do 128 kilobytes, but do 3 megs in level 2.
Yeah.
Don't drop it so low. Now you're gonna have performance that's not gonna be up to spec. If you're gonna compete with AMD and Intel, you gotta compete with 3 megs level 1, um, up to 16 megs level 2, and 32 megs level 3. I mean, come on.
Now tell me, what hertz is this chip gonna be pushing?
Um, Actually, not entirely
'Cause-
sure.
Well, that's what
Uh,
I'm
I
interested. I
don't
want to
think
see
they've
if it's gonna.
actually spoken about that yet. I don't think
They
they've released it.
They did say in that video, I'm trying to find the article about it, but it was a 7 core or 17 core. I can't remember
8
exactly.
core.
The 8
Uh,
core thread.
Look, regardless of the
yeah,
speed,
8 core. That's it, yeah.
the BMW Blender test render took 11
Mm.
minutes and 47 seconds,
Yeah.
which is so
Jeez.
slow in comparison to modern chips.
No, correct. But like I said, like we all said, they're trying something, and working. If it works or not, they have to try it, and then they know this fails. They start to something new. It's same thing with their phone processors, with the Kirin processors. Instead of using the other processor, the mainstream processor for graphics as well. It is. They say it's worse and it's better. As in better, it does better with battery life.
Yes.
But when it comes down to performance, it's worse. But they're getting better so fast, so quickly that you go like, okay, maybe now it's time to switch over. So yeah, but then again, it's all dependent on what the American politics is going to do, because that's going to create so much havoc around the world. It's not funny.
Yes.
I
Well,
think they're gonna do
Yeah,
actually very
no,
well.
definitely.
well,
I think they will do very well. If you see the first phones that they released, wasn't that good. Look at the phones that they released now. How good are they now?
No, 100%.
Oh yeah, no,
So-
definitely.
I think they will do pretty good, eh?
y- I think they'll be okay, but they do have a long way to go, as Giz is saying. I mean,
think-
if you look, they're 2.6 gigahertz processors. I found that now.
Yeah.
And I mean, they do
Well,
well
that's with the
streaming
8 thread.
4K, right?
Yes.
But they choke when they're doing local playback due to really poor encoding performance. It's going to be
Correct.
horrible. So the chip is basically, to put it plain, it's a light office chip only. It's going to go in like a Dell system that's going to be buy $4,000, $5,000 out of the shops. You're going to put it in your offices. You're going to buy them in bulk, and lots of people will have them with maybe a dedicated GPU for if they're doing video editing. You know, it's not going to be a big
That's how they're getting to
competitor in this industry.
But that's how they get into the computer market, though, because Huawei was one of the is and it still is the largest manufacturer for mobile devices. And I'm not talking about phones only. I'm talking about dongles, modems, routers, and
Yeah.
so forth. They got into the market by flushing the market with cheap dongles and cheap routers and things like that. Then every single time you bought like a flash stick that was what do you call it, 3G, it was Huawei.
Yes.
Routers, Huawei. So they flushed the market with that, and they start bringing in the low-end spec phones. And people look at it and going, yeah, you know what? Not interested. But they got the foothold already. They got the funds. They got everything they needed. And then they had enough leg room to actually open up and actually start producing better stuff, like the new
Yes.
phones. And I think that's going to happen with the computer systems. They're going to come in low, and they're going to end up very high very quick.
Yes.
Talking about a CPU that's gonna end up very high, I think it's this
Ah.
AMD Epic.
Yes.
Have you guys heard about this?
The Zen 3.
Yes, bring it on, bring it on.
Oh, it's going to be epic. No pun
I'm very
intended.
sad about the performance that it's busy pushing out for numbers.
Yeah, no,
I'm
look.
I'm very hopeful for it's gonna be pushing a lot more.
Look, it may have a low gigahertz thing, but don't take that in like
A low gigahertz. You mean a 1.5 is a low? No, that is
1.5 to
extremely low.
2.2. Yes, but think about it this way: it's a server processor, right? That's the
Yeah.
first thing. Second thing is it's like 64 cores. Dude, take 2.2 gigahertz and times it by 54, 64. How many cores it has? Imagine that. Imagine
Right,
64
massive.
cores, dude. Now you're gonna have 64 cores. It's gonna be using the Rome ES, and oh, dude, it's gonna. I personally think because of how many cores it has, using the Zen 3 architecture, it's gonna be crazy.
You know what? I've been with AMD since they brought out the first Athlon in 1999. Okay, then it was in competition with the Pentium 4. Everybody goes AMD, AMD. I thought, okay, you know what? I'm not too sure. The first bunch of AMDs who got failed completely out the box. Then we got the second batch, and then it started performing much better. And I thought, okay. Then there was a patch where AMD was so far below Intel, regardless with anything you want to do, they just super suck. And then it looked like AMD kind of picked up tied their shoes together, picked up their pants, and they started running. And then they just became so good, and you actually get more bang for your buck. So when AMD comes out with performance chips that's still undercutting Intel, you're sitting going, okay, we need to look at this, because everybody, or actually most people in the performance field, can afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, the EPIC processor is a powerhouse. There's no doubt. But I don't think it's for gaming. Hey, it may be a server processor, and
Well, I mean, if
the older Epics, yes, but not this one.
I mean, if even if you look at the Threadripper, that thing is not meant for gaming.
And they still use it though.
Yeah.
And it does pump out the numbers, not as well as like a Ryzen 9. Some of the Ryzen 9s can pump out, you know.
No,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm talking about now. Talking about that topic is when you're sitting with an older spec machine, is it time to upgrade, and why is it time to upgrade? You understand?
Yes.
So if you have a machine that has longer legs, for instance, if you built this machine 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, and it's still very valid today, yeah, sure, your L2 and L3 cache is very little, but it can still maintain everything what you want to do at the lowest setting or medium setting, then why should you upgrade? Are you upgrading because of the market? Because the things that you're playing, or the games or the programs you're using, is that telling you to upgrade those things?
Yes.
Or is it because you want to upgrade because you want to keep up with the Joneses?
Well, look, I look at it this way. You can do DDR3. DDR2, you can play some older spec games. That's okay if you upgrade the system right. But newer systems, go for the lowest spec CPU that I would say for a DDR3 system or DDR4 system. Lowest spec CPU, level 1 cache 384 kilobytes, level 2 cache 2 meg, level 3 cache 4 meg. That for me would be the lowest you could go. Any lower, you're gonna start having CPU bottlenecks.
No, 100%.
You know, you
But that's again, what are you using it for, though? You understand?
Exactly.
If you're looking at playing, look like, for example, you guys know I had the old GTX 680 card. There's only a
Yes.
click card. Okay?
Yeah.
I, up until recently, had that card for over 6 years, 7 years touching even.
but it was a
And
good card.
I played everything that I wanted to play, except now when I'm starting to play Warzone. I played it, it wasn't a problem, but it started giving me issues because it wasn't keeping up with the new updates. Now that's when I decided I need to update, but the card was still doing well. If I didn't play Warzone, I didn't need to update the card. So that
Yes.
brings it down to hardware versus software. What do you want to do, and does your hardware support it?
Yeah.
Yes, but
No,
also
that's
you
gonna
got
be
to
a-
look at whether the games you're going to be playing are going to be CPU intensive or going to be GPU intensive. You'd be surprised by what CPU intensive. Civilization 5 or 6, both of those games are very CPU intensive. Yes, that sounds right. But then you go GTA 5. GTA 5 is very CPU intensive.
Yes.
You're gonna get Total War, Warhammer 2, Assassin's Creed Origins, Far Cry 5. Games you don't expect to be CPU intensive are very CPU intensive.
Yeah, but those programs, those games are like single core intensive, not quad core and 8 core, because a lot of programs aren't optimized for multi cores.
Very true, and that's why your CPUs with multiple cores will spread it over their cores and will do multi-threading,
Yes,
which is AMD's strong point.
yes.
Look, I'm a big fan of GDDR5 and DDR4 at the moment. But don't get me wrong, I started on DDR1.
I think we all did. I started at DIMRAM.
Yes, you would have started on DIMRAM.
When I had 64 megs of RAM and like 700 megs of RAM and things like that, then my graphics card was 3 megs or 8 megs, and I started with that. So yeah, it's what I've got now. I appreciate it a lot.
Look, I didn't really.
No, you gotta appreciate the little things.
Yes. Look, I didn't really appreciate my first system that I kind of scrapped together. I mean, I was young. I found some parts around the house and all that. Kind of put it all together. It was DDR1. Had no idea what CPU it is. Still have no idea what CPU it is. All I know is I blew it up. Yeah, it was kind of embarrassing. I was little, okay. So what I did is
Yeah,
I
like
clicked that
mine.
little button on the back, exactly like yours, Duck. That little red power supply switch. I was like, oh, what's this? Poof, blows up in my ear.
Yeah,
And,
just like me. Just like me.
and that system
We
was
did the
so
same
dead.
thing.
Yeah, but that's how you learn, eh? Because my first IT position as a technician, a guy
Yeah.
tells me to get the graphics card out of that machine. Without asking if the machine was on or not, I just pulled it.
Oh,
It shorted the office. It shorted everything else, and that was it.
Damn.
That's how I learned that motherboard gone, graphics card gone, and CPU gone.
But let
yeah,
me
it's not
tell
hot
you,
swappable.
what I learned from blowing up that computer. Don't click that switch is the main thing. Um,
And you know how appreciative I am that switch isn't on the new power supplies.
Yes, because they're automatic. But what I did learn, which I'm happy about because it helped me later and I can do it now still, is the capacitors on the board. I had two that were blown on the board. The board was still okay. The power supply was stuffed, so I got a new power supply, and I soldered on a new capacitor onto the board. Lo and behold, to my surprise, when I pressed the power button, it switched on and worked.
Mm.
And I could play some basic things. Computer died about a week later, but yeah, we don't talk about that.
Belated causes.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah, I think things have changed.
things have definitely changed. We're now GDDR5 and GDDR6 and DDR4, DDR3 and AM4. But the way it's gonna go is I think the gaming industry is gonna grow even more than it has now, and it's not just gonna go, new tech, new tech, new tech. It's gonna go new tech, and we're gonna jump 10 years ahead, new tech,
Yes.
because people
Yeah.
are getting innovative, eh?
Yeah, very innovative.
Yes. All right, boys. That was a
Okay.
good chat. I hope
That's gonna wrap
everybody
it up for
enjoyed.
this
Yes. No, it was
podcast.
phenomenal, and you learn a lot as we carry along through the internet. My wife
Yeah,
always
you
says to me,
guys
"Get on
learn.
the internet."
We all learn.
Yes.
You don't learn along the way without blowing a couple things up.
No.
Exactly.
Or your wife goes in your ear, stop spending so much time on internet.
Exactly.
Thank you
Oh,
guys so
goodness.
much, and I
Cool,
hope you guys
guys.
enjoyed.
Yes, thank you guys for tuning in for our podcast, and thanks again to Barbox for sponsoring this video. Guys, please go check out barbox.co today.
Description down below.
Description down below, website will be there, and yeah, thank you guys again.
Have a fantastic evening, guys.
Be safe.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Bye.
guys. Bye.